Good morning, Facebook, yeah, family and friends, and everybody that's joining us here. I think we're smidge early still, but time just 11 o'clock. So, all right. All right. Well, if you are joining us, feel free to send a comment down below or like or whatever, and just to let me know you're watching, because I can't see everybody that's on a lot of times. So that way I'm not alone on here. All right, so we've been looking at Joseph from the book of Genesis, and the more I get into it, and I've always really enjoyed the story of Joseph and just learning about him and the different struggles that he went through. And so as we're looking at it today, we're gonna pick up where we left off last week, which was Genesis verse 43. We're getting into verse 26, chapter 43, verse 26. So I'm just gonna read a few verses before that. Let's see here. So Genesis 43, and we'll start in verse 24. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender, and they made ready the present against Joseph. Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. So obviously we're picking up where his brothers have come back for food. They're trying to bring food back for their families back down in Canaan. And Joseph's going to have them eat at their house. And so that's kind of where we're picking up. So verse 26, and when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house and bowed themselves to him to the earth. Now, I want to just pause there for a moment. As we're going through this, and you can... Oh, man. Anyway, as we're going through this, we can remember that going back to, when we started looking at it in Genesis chapter 37, that Joseph had a dream, and he was 17 when he had that dream. He was sharing that dream with his brothers. The dream he had was this. Actually, we'll go back and just look at those two portions, and I just want to show you why I'm doing that. I think it's important to kind of review as we go, so we kind of remember. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. He was 17. Now he was 30 when he was before Pharaoh. So this time has passed. It's not just like this. This didn't. Excuse me. This didn't just happen. In a week. Or a few days. There was preparation time. There was a lot of different details going on. So back in Genesis chapter 37. Yeah, okay. So Genesis 37 and verse 5. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. So, it's just... Some people do not want to hear the dreams that you have, the desires that you have. They don't want to hear it. Even if it's something that's going to benefit them and be a blessing. They don't want to hear it. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field. And lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. Again, I just want to pick up everything we can as we go through this. And I know we are missing a lot. I tried to slow down a little bit. The first sermon that I shared in this, it wasn't even going to be a series. I just kind of was going to blow through it a little bit. And we were kind of starting on, talking about doubt and kind of overcoming doubt and getting through the struggles of life. And as we're going through this, I want us to kind of pick out, again, we're just kind of picking out the high points, but it's so crucial to remember that Joseph had these dreams, and these dreams we're seeing now their fulfillment. And it didn't happen overnight. It didn't, it took time. I just happened to, I was reading something that was on Facebook last night about Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken there. I mean, I think he was 65 when he kind of went out on the road and finally met someone that wanted to implement his recipe, his recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken there. 65. I mean, he went to I think it was 1,000, his 1,009th restaurant or something that he finally, they were going for it. So you think about it. I'm not saying it was his desire from when he was 17 and then, it took him till 65, but you know what? He did it. He kept going. So that's so, right, exactly. A young man. Thanks, Mom and Dad. that young whippersnapper Colonel Sanders. So, but just as I'm saying that is just understanding as we're going through life, everything just seems to be against us at times. Our family, friends, who life itself. Just oh gosh, everything keeps going wrong. We don't know at what point we're at. Whether we're in that pit, that prison. Excuse me a second. So it's important to remember we need to keep the faith. We need to trust God all through it. We need to constantly, excuse me, come back to time in His Word, time in prayer, and just walk with Him daily. Even if we don't see things that are working out right now, are we continuing to walk with the Lord? And that's a question you got to ask yourself. So, all right, now in Genesis 37, verse 9. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him, and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. Just as far as just being wise about some of these things is, if God lays something on our heart, and we really believe that it's from the Lord, we're diligent about studying it out and praying, and whether it's being a missionary to another country, whether it's being an evangelist traveling around, whether it's being a plumber, a carpenter, helping families that are struggling, a mechanic, any number of things. If there's something that you enjoy doing and that's not against the Bible and not against what God says, God can definitely have put that on your heart. It's okay to do that. Listen. Not everyone is called to be a pastor. Not everyone's called to be a missionary, but you're a missionary wherever you are, right? You might not be called to go to, Bangladesh or South America, or, you might not be called to do that, but maybe God put it on your heart to stay in the town where you were born and be a blessing and an encouragement. No problem, Miss Jennifer. Glad to see you on. Glad you made it. Maybe God just put it on your heart to be able to help, widows that are struggling, and you just offer your shop on the weekends just to help them out and fix their cars or do oil changes or whatever. The one church in town here has a firewood ministry. Guess what? That's an incredible ministry to have. So, well, it's just cutting firewood. Guess what? In Colorado, it gets cold during the wintertime. It stays cold into the springtime. It gets cold now in the fall here. Any number of things can be a ministry. Any number of things can be something that God has you in place to do. And you might never know about it in your lifetime. And God can show you in eternity all that he had for you. So don't stop living for the Lord, no matter what you're going through. And listen, again, like as Joseph's sharing these dreams with his brothers, they don't want to hear it. They get more upset with him and everything. But his father observed the saying. He was observing it. Now, I just thinking about this also. Let me stop there for a second. I'm gonna turn to Proverbs chapter 22 for a second. Well, probably more than a second, but Proverbs chapter 22. This thought kind of came to mind as I was doing a little more studying this morning. Proverbs 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Right? So Proverbs 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. As we follow the life of Joseph, right? We see him, we see him with his dad. He's got his multicolored coat, and he's going out to check on his brethren and stuff. This is all all throughout. If you missed that, feel free to go back and check out some of the other sermons on Facebook, or I am able to share them on YouTube now. So, and I'm going to share this on YouTube after. So I do pray it's a blessing there, and on Rumble too. I'm on Rumble now. Yay. But anyway, just thinking back, is Joseph was a teenager, 17, and his brothers aren't liking him because he's sharing his dreams with them. They throw him in that pit. They sell him into slavery. He goes down to Egypt. They don't know anything from there. He's gone in their minds. It's like, good, that dreamer's out of our hair. We took the coat off him, ripped it up or whatever, dipped it in some blood, and then sent it back. It's like, hey, is this your son's coat, Dad? Do you know? Joseph was 17 at the time. It's so important as we adults are walking with the Lord, and the different struggles in life happen. It's essential. It is so important to remember that our children are watching us. Our families are watching us. Our friends are watching us. And are we holding on to the faith? Are we continuing to walk with the Lord through these things? Are we training up our children in the way they should go? Because you figure this, Joseph had a foundation at the age of 17 to continue to trust the Lord, because he went through the different struggles that he was going through, and he kept the faith. He was living for the Lord. Other people saw that. It's like, Potiphar saw it. It's like, wow, this guy's living for the Lord. I don't have to worry about anything that I put in his care. The keeper of the prison, he's there in the prison again. He doesn't have to. If Joseph's taking care of it, I don't have to worry about anything. It's fine. That it was promotion after promotion, even in the prison or in slavery. And it was those promotion after promotion that got him to the point where he's second in command in Egypt. He's the one distributing the corn, and he's the one taking care of the land. He's the one saving it up. They saw a difference in him. That came from his upbringing. That came from Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. That came from being influenced by family that trusted and knew the Lord. And listen, his brothers did some crazy things. They did some wicked things. We've got to make sure we're having the right influence on people. We've got to make sure we've got the right influence around us. We've got to make sure we're having we're letting the right influence be around our kids. it's so important. So again, just thinking about that like I said, Joseph was 17 years old at the point when he's sold into slavery and all that. So train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now, just as I'm turning back, I want to turn and I'm going to stop in Psalm chapter 37 for a moment, and just thinking about this as Joseph's having these dreams, and God's going to bring their fulfillment. Thinking about Psalm chapter 37 and verse 4. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. It's so important to remember that those desires, right? If I'm delighting myself in the Lord, he shall give thee, right? Give thee the desires of thine heart. Are my desires right? Am I checking this out? Is it something contrary to God's word? Well, he's not going to give you that desire. Because if we're delighting ourselves in the Lord first and foremost, then his word is our focus. His spirit is our focus. His will and his way is our focus. So godly desires are going to be our desires because our focus is on him. And then commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. You figure these different verses that I pull out from, throughout the Bible, they're exemplified in Joseph as he's walking with the Lord, as he's doing everything he's doing. It's evident that the psalm wasn't even written, but Joseph is living this out. It was like when we were looking at Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. All things work together for good. That's just that small portion. You've probably heard it, said. It's become a catchphrase type thing. Oh, all things work together for good. It's to them that love God. Joseph loved God. He was serving God, and God was able, with a teenager, a 17-year-old kid, to be able to prepare, to provide for his children, Israel, Jacob and all his family and all of Joseph's family. So, all right, now we're going to turn back to, all right, well, we just saw that. Let me turn to Genesis 42 right now. So Genesis chapter 42. And again, we're just kind of looking over some of these things about Joseph's dreams, and just as we're going through it, and then we will continue as we're in Genesis 43. So Genesis chapter 42, and I want to look at verse 5. Let's start in verse 5. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn. Now, this is the first time they're coming to buy corn, right? Came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. All right, so this is a famine that is it's bad, and it's getting bad all over. All right. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. Now this is the first time that they're coming. This is the first time that he's seen them in that many years, right? I mean, he was 30. I was trying to find that verse. Well, I'll find it another time. But anyway, I know at this point he's 30 years old, or he's over 30 now, since some of this time has passed. All right, now we're going to turn to Genesis 43. We're going to pick up where we were before here. So Genesis chapter 43, and we were in verse 26. All right, so this is, you figure this. Joseph had two different dreams that he shared. They're binding sheaves, and then the brethren's sheaves bow down to him. Then he has this other dream about the sun and the moon and the star, 11 stars, and they're bowing down to him. So verse 26, and when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house and bowed themselves to him to the earth. So this is the second time they're bowing down. They don't know it's Joseph. They don't know that this is the fulfillment of Joseph's dream. They don't know that. So I was going to say hello to the other Jennifer Henriksen. So good to see you on. So this is the second time they're bowing down, and I thought it was interesting. I'm not positive, but I know at some point, Jacob's going to come down. I don't want to spoil it. I mean, if nobody, no spoiler alerts here. But I just thought it was interesting. I'm like, he had two dreams, and this is the second time they're bowing down. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm not saying they're not going to do it again, but I just thought that was kind of interesting. So we're picking it up in verse 27. And he asked them of their welfare and said, Is your father well, the old man of whom ye spake? Is he yet alive? And they answered, Thy servant, our father, is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. All right, so this is the third time they're bowing down and stuff. So I'm not trying to make any necessary significance to two dreams and two bow downs, but see, they're doing this. This is the fulfillment of that dream he had. All right, it took time though. Okay, and listen, the focus of the dream wasn't necessarily that. I mean, you figure we've all had different dreams over the years. I've had some weird ones, and it just, they don't make sense, and I don't understand, and I'm not digging into them. I'm not trying to figure out the meaning is necessarily, but these dreams, they were good things that he was dreaming about. They were negative to those that were going to bow down. It's like, if my little brother, had a dream, oh, you're going to bow down to me. It's like, oh, really? I don't think so. It ain't going to happen, man. I don't like him, But Joseph has these things. It makes them jealous. That's what prompts them to then sell him into slavery. I mean, they wanted to kill him. I mean, the brother, oh, let's kill. No, let's not kill him. Let's throw him in a pit over there. All right, so they throw him in the pit. And, you figure the one brother's going to come back and get him. It's like, oh, let me get him. Oh, hello, Brother Timothy. Good to see you on. Thank you for joining us. You figure he's going to be, we're going to throw him in this pit, but the one brother wants to come rescue him. But then they see these traders going by. Hey, wait a minute. Let's make some money off this kid. Let's sell him into slavery. So they do. I mean, I can't fathom this, But listen, there's things happening these days. It's crazy. I mean, you think about how much just wickedness is going on in the world. It's different in ways, but there's still so much going on. So just that's a kind of a side note, but just keep praying, because I think about the human trafficking when I'm thinking about this, and we just need to pray and help any way we can. All right. Verse 29. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son. All right. Now this, like I said, I mean, we're going rather quickly as we're going through this. Please take the time and go back and read more in Genesis and study these things out, because you can see that Jacob, I mean, and again, it's confusing at times. He's got 4 different ladies that he's got children with, and it's just like, whoa, I can't believe all that happened. Well, look, it happened, okay? Not God's plan for us today. This is Old Testament times. It wasn't necessarily wise of him to do it either, but he's got different ladies that he's got, he's got the baby mamas there. So he's having kids with all these other ladies and stuff. So this particular one, though, I mean, Benjamin is his brother. It's not like half brothers or anything like that. So this is his brother, his mother's son, like it says. Is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me? And I'd have to do some research. I didn't look this up, but I mean, thinking about it, if Joseph was 17, he hasn't seen his brother in years. He hasn't seen little Benjamin, and I don't know how much age difference there is, but you figure it's been over 10 years here, since he's seen him. It's like, oh man, it's crazy, well, 17, 13 years was that. And then I'm trying to think, again, we don't know exactly how long before the food ran out and then they came back down. So, I mean, there's been a lot of time since he's seen his little brother Benjamin. All right, so is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And Joseph made haste, verse 30, and Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother. And he sought where to weep. And he entered into his chamber and wept there. And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, set on bread. Now you figure this. His other brothers, he doesn't necessarily know that that the one brother was trying to save him, trying to deliver him out of their hands. He doesn't know about that. He's heard different conversations as they've come back to Egypt to get corn, and it's like, no, don't, we can't, we're not spies, we're just men, and they're saying, look, this is happening to us because God knows that we saw the anguish of our brother and we didn't do anything about it. He's understanding them. He's speaking to them through a translator. That's what the one portion said. They don't know it's Joseph. So you figure this, he hasn't seen Benjamin in a long time. I mean, I don't know, 15 years or more probably. It's crazy. Because he's a young man now, he might be 18, 20, I don't know. But it's incredible to think about. I mean, he's wanting to see his little brother. So then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, talking about his bowels yearned for him. It's his guts, his inner, he just, his heart, his everything inside is like, oh my gosh, he wanted to go give his brother a hug and stuff. And I haven't seen you in so long. So he quickly ducks out of the room, and he's going and crying in his chamber and stuff, and he's splashing some water on his face, kind of freshen up, and then he comes back out. Verse 32. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. All right, so that you figure they're set at different tables. It's like we're having an early Thanksgiving dinner here today, and a lot of times there's a kids table, right? I don't know if there's going to be a kids table. We're all going to be probably eating all over the place because there's going to be a bunch of us. But sometimes there's a kids table. You have them separated and stuff. So that's what they're doing here. But for the Egyptians, it's an abomination. We can't even eat with you guys. So Joseph's brothers are over there. The Egyptians that are eating with Joseph are over here. They're separated. Verse 33, and they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth, and the men marveled one at another. Now this is kind of neat, and you figure this. Joseph has them sit down in age order, right? So the oldest, right down to Benjamin being the youngest, and the men marveled. Wow, we're in age order. I mean, you think about this, because again, I don't think for one second they're not suspecting that, they're not starting to think, maybe this is Joseph. I mean, that doesn't come in here. They're not thinking, who could seat us in age order? It's just boy, that's really that's wild. How could that happen? So they marveled one at another. Verse 34, and he took and sent messes unto them, right? See, like, think about it, the mess hall, right? You go eat and stuff. So they sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as of theirs, and they drank and were merry with him. So I love the terms and stuff. Oh man, we had a mess of food. Oh man, it's the mess hall. It makes a mess. It's kind of neat. I love the wording and things. But you think about it, Benjamin. The youngest, right? He's got 5 times more than his brothers. That way, they're sat in age order. Benjamin's getting just a ton of food, and it's like, man, he's got but they're all eating. They're not complaining. They're just all eating. So, chapter 44, starting in verse 1. Let me just 1 second here. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. All right. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. Oh, excuse me. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. Now, so we saw this before as well, that Joseph has the money placed back in, their bags. We figure that, I know we're probably all used to shopping bags and stuff. I'm assuming these are big bags, as much as they can carry. These things are full to the brim. The sack's mouth. They're tying it, closed, and it's, oh boy, it's barely closed. You ever fill a garbage bag up? I think about it. We just did the pine needles not too long ago, and some of the bags you're trying to stuff it in. Well, this is how Joseph is filling their bags. He's putting all their money back in, just like he did before. And in this case, though, he's having his silver cup be put in Benjamin's bag along with his money. All right, so we're seeing this happen, and now we know the last time. They were freaking out. They're like, oh, they get back to Canaan, the one, when they were feeding their donkey there and stuff. They open up the sack's mouth, and it's like, my money's back in my bag. They're freaking out. They thought, they figure that they're talking to Joseph again. They don't know it's Joseph. They're talking to him, and he's thinking, you guys are spies. He's talking through a translator to them. They're being accused of being spies. Like, I don't know what's happened. This must be God. They're saying, God must have done this to us. They're freaking out again. We saw it. Let's see if I can find it here. Verse in chapter 43, when they came, they came back and they had extra money. Look, they brought the money from the first time, and they brought extra money. Look, we got plenty of money. We're paying for the corn. We weren't trying to, we have no clue how this happened. They're telling it in verse 19 of chapter 43. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, "Oh, sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack. Our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. And other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks." And he said, "Peace be to you. Fear not. Your God, and the God of your father, hath given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money," and he brought Simeon out unto them. So you figure this. The steward of Joseph's house is saying, no, you know what? God did that for you. God gave you, gave you a treasure and stuff. But they're freaking out. So that's the memory of that. They're getting ready now to leave. It's the same setup. This case, though, right? We've got Benjamin here. It was already, you've got Judah talking to Jacob, a few chapters back, and saying, look, if we don't bring my little brother down, the man said he wouldn't even see us. We can't even go get food. If you're not going to let me bring him, then I'm not going to go down. There's no sense, because we're not going to get food. He's not even going to see us. And Jacob finally says, well, fine, take him down. If I lose that son, also I lose that son. I'll go down to the grave sad, and just it's going to be what it's going to be, kind of thing. They're trying to make assurances. Look, kill my two kids. The one brother's saying, if I don't bring them back alive, I'll be surety for them. Like if I don't bring them back alive, you can blame me. I'll take the blame the rest of my life. They're trying to make assurances to, look, Dad, we're gonna bring our little brother back. You're gonna see him again. Please just trust us. All right, so that's you figure that's the build up to what we're getting to here. All right, verse 2 again. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, Wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth? Ye have done evil in so doing. And he overtook them, and he spake unto them these same words. And they said unto him, Wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sacks' mouths we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? With whomsoever, okay, now this is kind of a caution right here. I'll kind of backtrack after I read it here. With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. And he said, Now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Now, this is something, and I didn't look up the verse. I didn't think about it until now. But making a statement, or making a promise, kind of putting yourself in bond. Look, I'll tell you what, we didn't steal anything from you guys. Now, thinking about what happened last time, I'd be thinking like, we didn't take anything. I don't know that I'd fill in the gaps anymore. We don't know who put the money in our bags last time, and this time, look, we didn't take anything. And I'll tell you what, whoever you find if you find something in somebody's bag, I'll tell you what, he can be killed. Kill him, and the rest of us will be your servants. Just be careful what you be saying there, because they're gonna be biting their tongues pretty soon here. All right. So verse 11, Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched, and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Okay, so what I mean, just before I read any further, and I know probably a lot of us know this, this portion of scripture and this story and stuff, but just if it's your first time going through this, as we're going through this, and just with some of the buildup we've had, what do you think they're thinking or feeling? I mean, they're freaking out already. The guy thinks we're spies, and we came down, and no, we're true men. We're 10 of 12 brothers. One of our brothers is back with our dad, and the other one's gone. He's gone. No, you're not. You're spies. If you don't bring your youngest brother with you the next time, then I'll know you're spies. Like, what? And then they get back and they're talking to Jacob. Well, why'd you even tell him there was another brother here? Well, the guy's accusing us, Dad. We don't. He's freaking out. He's yelling at us. He's speaking through a translator. He's speaking mean to us. And again, they're not sharing with their dad that, well, we think it's because God's after us because we saw the anguish of Joseph and we sold him into slavery anyway. But we can't tell you that, Dad, because we lied to you and said that he was, this must be his coat and somebody, some wild animal got him. All right. So verse 12 again, and he searched and began at the eldest. And this is again, you got to think, it's like he's starting with the eldest and going down to the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. 1 second here. All right. Then they rent their clothes and laded every man his ass and returned to the city. Now, just as we're going through, if different things come out, I'll try to explain them or just kind of expound on them a little bit. But they rent their clothes. They're not going to there was no place out here in the desert that they're going to get tuxedos for a wedding or something. They're not renting their clothes like that. They're renting. They rent their clothes. They're ripping their clothes. It's like, oh great. They're probably thinking, Benjamin, what did you do? You stupid little kid, even if he's in his 20s, everybody else in their 30s or 40s or whatever, they're probably thinking, what did you do? You idiot. So they're ripping their clothes. So everybody gets their stuff back on their asses there, and then getting back to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, what deed is this that ye have done? Wot ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine? And you figure Joseph's like, look, you didn't think that I knew what was going on? This is the cup I use for divining and things and stuff. Joseph, we know, obviously, was able to give interpretations of dreams. He got it from the Lord. So he's just kind of trying to, set this up with his brothers in a way. Verse 16. And Judah said, what shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also, with whom the cup is found. Now, just thinking about this. This is an interesting thing, especially coming from Judah, who's, who would be the, great something grandfather of Jesus, in the flesh there, because Jesus was born from the line of Judah. Hi, Larry. This is an interesting thing and an interesting approach. If we're like say we're coming before the Lord, right? What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how should we clear ourselves? It's kind of an interesting, humbling thing to think about, that, Lord, I've got nothing to say. I can't, I can't stand before you, and this, how shall we clear ourselves? Thankfully, Jesus came and died in our place, that we simply just trust him. We believe what Jesus did for us, that he died on that cross, taking our sin upon himself. How shall we clear ourselves? Jesus took the punishment, took the blame. He paid the price for us, so that all we need to do, we simply trust him. I can't clear myself. God manifest in the flesh, the Son of God, took upon himself my sin. He took my place on the cross, dying in my place, dying in your place. Everyone that's watching, all your family, all your friends, everyone around, everyone in the whole world. Jesus took the sins of us on himself because God the Father laid them on him. We just simply need to trust him. It's just a really interesting thought. You figure this. Judah's talking to Joseph. He doesn't know it's Joseph at this point. He's talking to him. He's the Lord of the land as far as he's concerned. It's like, look, I've got nothing to say. What am I going to say? We're your servants. All right, we're done. He's just trying to, trying to soften the blow for the rest of the family in a way. That's what Judah's doing. So we get to verse 17. But just as I'm saying that, just remember, as we're going through this, the struggles of life, like we're seeing just the struggles that Joseph went through from going through, like kind of our running topic or our running title is, kind of from the pit to the prison to the palace. It's so important to remember that Jesus was the one that in a way went to the pit for us. He was laid in that borrowed tomb. He willingly laid down his life for us, and he rose again from the dead, and he's alive forevermore. He's alive right now. And all I need to do is simply trust him and believe what he did, and he saves us. I'm believing that my sins were laid on Jesus. Jesus took them all, died in my place, shed his precious blood for me. He was buried and rose again from the dead. Talk about, and he's seated on the right hand of God the Father. Talk about, from the pit to the prison to the palace. Jesus couldn't be held down. He's God manifest in the flesh. If you haven't trusted Jesus, then please do it today. None of us are promised tomorrow. Let me just thought just kind of popped in my head. Friday was November 8th, and that day has shaken me for the last 3 years in such a way, because I know a lot of family and friends know, but that was the day 3 years ago, this past Friday, was when Katie passed away, when she went home to be with the Lord. And it's so important to realize that none of us is promised tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen later today. We just don't know. Life is so fragile. It's so delicate. And the struggles, the trials, everything that we're going through, it's so important to remember. It's like, look, this life is not all there is. It's essential to remember that. There is eternity waiting for each and every one of us. But where are you going to spend it? Are you going to spend it with the Lord because you've trusted him? Or are you going to ignore that free gift of eternal life that's offered through Jesus Christ and die and go to a devil's hell? God doesn't want you doing that. I don't want you doing that. That's why I share it. That's why I'm trying to just tell everyone I can. Please trust Jesus Christ today. If you want to know more about him, you want to know more about what the Bible says, I'd love to send you a Bible if you need one. Just please reach out, okay? Because I want to. That's why I'm talking. So it's just to point others to the Lord. All right. So Genesis 44 again, verse 17. And he said, God forbid that I should do so. But the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. Joseph's sharing this, and he's not even concerned about the money, right? He's not worried about the money that's all back in all their bags. It's the one cup, right? Because if he's worried about the money, all of them had their money back in their sacks. Right, so all 11 brothers. But he doesn't make that the focus. He makes the cup the focus. Right? He's making the cup the focus. And why is he doing that? Let's keep going. Verse 18. Then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant. Oh, thanks, Bree. O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ear, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant. For thou art even as Pharaoh. Okay, so you figure this. Judah is equating Joseph. Again, he doesn't know it's Joseph. It's some big name that I can barely pronounce. He's equated. Look, you're even as Pharaoh. Like you're like Pharaoh, like even. The scales are even type thing. My Lord asked his servants, saying, "Have ye a father or a brother?" Okay, because Joseph knew the brothers weren't catching on. No, you guys are spies. Do you have any other family? Well, our brother's back there, and so is our dad. This whole thing that God's working out the details, and I don't know. It's like a mystery novel in a way. It's really kind of neat. Verse 20, and we said unto my Lord, we have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou saidst unto thy servants, bring him down unto me, that I may set mine eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, the lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. Now, again, Judah is trying to get across to, doesn't know it's Joseph at this point, just the Lord, the Lord of the land here. Hey, gosh, thanks for joining us. He's trying to get this point across. It's like, look, you don't understand. Okay, we brought the youngest of our brothers down. If this brother, if anything happens to this brother, it's going to kill, it's going to kill him. All right, please listen to this, okay? Verse 22 again, and we said unto my Lord, the lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And thou saidst unto thy servants, except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. Okay, so we knew we couldn't even come down and get food. We knew you wouldn't even see us if we didn't bring our younger brother. If we take our younger brother, we figure this: our dad's going to die. His life is kind of so wrapped up in his life. He's the youngest of us. He's the child of his old age. It's gonna break his heart. It's gonna kill him. So, verse 24. And it came to pass, when we came up unto thy servant my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, go again and buy us a little food. And we said, we cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then will we go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. Look, Dad, we can't go down without Benjamin. Well, you're not taking him with us. It's like, well, he's not going to see us, Dad. And thy servant my father said unto them, ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons. And the one, and again, just to get some backstory on this, Jacob worked for years. It's I know it's different now, but he worked for 7 years because he thought that, okay, yeah, I'm working 7 years to have, he's working for his what would become his father-in-law. He's working to get his wife, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna work for her and stuff. Well, his father-in-law pulled a fast one on him, and gets married, and I'm assuming they're wearing veils and stuff like that, and goes into the the honeymoon suite there at the Hyatt there. No, it's not really that, but it's the wedding tent, whatever. So he goes in, and then he discovers it's the sister. Okay, you'd have to go back and read this in Genesis. But it's kind of like, it's like, what? It's like, I didn't just work 7 years for this one. I was working 7 years for that one. It's like, what did my father-in-law do to me here? So, I mean, you'd have to go back and see that, but you figure this. This is the wife that he wanted the whole time. And she ends up passing away after Benjamin's born. And I can understand just the the closeness and how much of a love he had for her. And unfortunately, I mean, just thinking about it, with that's some of where the other brothers were despised in their eyes, because he despised the mothers of them as well. So it's so important, especially with with a husband and wife, with a couple. It's so important how you interact as a husband and a wife, because your children see it. And there were plenty of times, and I know, and I mean, we apologized a lot to Joshua when we'd get in arguments or fight about things, because he saw it, So it's just so important to remember. It's like, you know what, little eyes are watching, right? Older eyes are watching. People are watching how we're living. People are watching what we're doing. So it's so important to remember, you know what, I really messed up on that, or I messed up on this, and to make it right, to make amends. So just, like I said, there's so much. I mean, I could be preaching through the whole book of Genesis, but I'm trying not to. Trying to keep moving here. So, all right. All right. So I just read verse 27, and thy servant my father said unto us, Ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons. And again, that was the wife that he had worked for 7 years at first, but then he got another one. So he got the older sister first. Verse 28, and the one went out from me, and I said, Surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. And again, this is referring to Joseph, because his brothers took the coat that he had, that Jacob made for Joseph. They killed an animal, they dipped it in blood, and then they sent it to him. It's like, look, do you know if this is, and again, I thought it was very interesting. They don't say, is this our brother's coat? They say, do you know if this is your son's coat? It's like that distancing language. That look, I'm not sure if you know or not, but is this your son's coat? He's, Joseph's gone. He doesn't want to let go of Benjamin, basically. Verse 29, and if ye take this also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. And going from dealing with loss, like I've been struggling with for just a little over 3 years now. I don't know what it's like to lose a child, and I'm thankful for that. There was a time that Katie really, thought that she might have had a miscarriage, and we don't know. I mean, at that time she didn't take a pregnancy test or anything like that, and we always wanted to have more kids. We were blessed with Joshua. He is such a blessing and encouragement to us. But we did want to have more kids. But just thinking about this. And I think about it with some of the things that different people say, and I don't think it's out of, it's not out of meanness or anything like that. It's just some things that people say when they don't know what to say when someone's grieving. Oh, well, oh, you're young, you'll get married again. Okay. That doesn't, thanks for that, but that doesn't negate the fact that I miss the wife that I had. She's not here anymore. It doesn't just all of a sudden, oh, you're right. You know what? I shouldn't even miss her. I should just get right back out there. Huh? Or in this situation. Well, Dad, you got more kids. You got us, Dad. You got more kids, yeah, okay, so Joseph's gone. He was ripped up by some animal. I mean, we're lying about it. We didn't tell you, but, you got more kids. What's the big deal? Like, this is just some little nuggets of wisdom here. Sometimes it's better not to say anything and just be a shoulder to lean on than to say something stupid that, people just look like, what did you just say? All right, so that's just little words of wisdom there from John over here. So, all right, verse 30. I'm gonna finish this chapter. We just got a few more verses. I'm gonna finish this chapter, and we'll pick up verse 45 the next time we get together. Chapter 45. Okay, so verse 30. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant my father, and the lad be not with me, with us, sorry, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life. Okay, now, and that's an interesting statement, and I think about it. Actually, I thought about it with my little nephews, just got here and stuff. Been spending more time with him, and our niece has been, my niece has been coming over and stuff. And I remember back to times bringing them to like the nursing home, and we'd go there for church and Bible study and things, and it's so amazing. I go there and say hi to somebody. Yeah, hi, how you doing? But at times, and not with everybody, but you bring little kids in there, and the older people, I mean, they just seem to light up. It's like in a way they bring life to ones that are declining in life and declining in health, and it's just really incredible to think about. But thinking about this verse, the end of verse 30, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, thinking, look, if you don't understand, if we don't bring my little brother back, okay, his life is so bound up in the lad's life that it's going to break his heart. It's going to be like ripping him away. And I know for a lot of people that have lost a spouse, lost a child, lost a loved one and stuff. Again, I haven't lost a child, thank God, as other than, like I said, what possibly happened. I understand that ripping apart, that where your heart just feels like it's so broken and raw and shattered that it's going to kill me if something else happens. God can help you through that. Okay, the comfort and strength that comes from God, he wants to help you through that. Okay, Jesus himself, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. Figuring this, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross. He knows what it's like to suffer pain. He knows what it's like to suffer death. So if there's anyone that you can approach that knows these things, it's God. And you can approach him through the Lord Jesus Christ. So just please remember that, please. Verse 31. It shall come to pass, when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die. And thy servants shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. It's just that's it. I mean, he's going to die if we don't bring my little brother back. He's going to die. Okay, Judah is pleading with him. It's like, please, you don't understand. Okay, look, we'll all serve you. That's great. Okay, but you don't understand. If you're killing a man, you're going to kill him if we don't bring him back. Verse 32, for thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Judah was saying, look, I will bring him back alive. Okay, Dad, don't give it another thought. Okay, if we stay here, we're all gonna die. We need food, so we got to go to Egypt. We can't see the guy unless we bring our little brother back. Okay. Sorry, it came up in conversation. The guy thought we were spies. We were just talking about our family, and all of a sudden he wanted to see our little brother. Like we knew we were going to say that, Dad? Verse 33, now therefore, I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father? Judah's saying, and you figure there's a lot of buildup, and I'm not trying to purposely drag it on necessarily, but I really want to take the time and pull the truth out of this and just really help us to grasp this. That I think in a way, and it's not I don't see it necessarily as I'm going through it. But I think in a way, Joseph wants to know if his brothers have changed. Joseph wants to know. It's like, look, you sold me into slavery. You threw me in a pit. Would you do the same thing for Benjamin? And he's seeing a difference. He's seeing a change. He's seeing that Judah, look, I tell you what, let him go. I'll be your servant. All right. I don't want to go back there if I don't have him with me and see the evil that's going to happen to my dad. The change has been happening over this time. And I think it's important to remember, we're all going through so many things. There's so much going on, and I think about it just as this past week with the election, and I'm not gonna talk a lot about it, but I just want to simply say this: there's so many things that divide us. There's so many things that have come between us, and listen, don't let it happen anymore. Don't let the news media and the late shows and the talk shows and all this stuff. There's a million and one reasons to hate people. Well, how about this? Why don't we find some reasons to love one another? Why don't we find some reasons to, maybe someone's going through something that's totally broken them, and they need some time to get through it. Maybe they need a listening ear. Maybe they just want to yell and scream. Maybe they're yelling and screaming at God. God, why'd you do this? I don't understand. Because I've been there, and it's hard. But it's important to remember. Look, each and every one of us is on our own journey. We're walking this path of life. Look, I believe we've got an instruction manual. I believe the Bible's kind of our basic instructions before leaving Earth. But we're still struggling. We're still going through tough times. There's a lot of pain in this world. We can be there for one another. We can help one another. We can bear one another's burdens. I'm not trying to shove religion down people's throats. I want you to know about the Lord that died for me and died for you and saved my soul. I want you to know about him. Because he loved you so much. He loved you enough to die in your place. And that's why I love to get on here and talk about it. I'm going to close in a word of prayer, and I just as I was mentioning a little bit, if there's any, I don't even know who's watching. It says 3 right now, but I just hope and pray that if you have not trusted the Lord, right? If you missed that part that I was talking about Jesus, if you don't know that he died for your sins on that cross, that he was buried, that he rose again the third day, and that you simply just need to trust him and believe what he did, that he took your sin away, that you don't owe anything to God the Father. He paid the price for you, and you just simply need to trust him. If you haven't done that, then please do that today. If you want to talk more about it, then please, let's talk. All right, reach out to me, send me a message, comment below. All right, if you've got my number, give me a call. Not yet, I'm live right now. Just wait a little bit. But I'd love to talk about it. Thanks. I see 5 on. Thanks. But anyway, I'm gonna close in a word of prayer, and just I do hope and pray that these sermons are a blessing. I hope they're an encouragement. I finally figured out how to share them on YouTube, so I'm able to share them on YouTube. I just started Rumble. I'm going to try to start sharing more videos there. And please feel free to share these with people. I want to be a blessing. I want to be an encouragement. I don't have it all together. I don't have it all figured out. I just know this. God loved us so much that he died for us. And he loves you so much that he did that. And he wants you with him. Life is so short. Life is so fragile. And it's just, none of us are promised tomorrow. One second. Tissue. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. No, but just like I said, it's so important to think about that. I mean, our life, the Bible talks about it's but a vapor that appeareth for a little while. I think about it, I saw that Kasha was on, and I think about it like, just thinking about the farm, and when the sun comes up and there's that mist, and you can't even see out very far into the field or anything like that. But then the sun just kind of makes it disappear as it comes up, and it kind of burns off. That's what our life's like. All of a sudden, we could be gone. All of a sudden, our loved one, our neighbor, our friend, family member, any one of us. Eternity is too long to be there, separated from God. None of us have to go to a devil's hell. We can trust what Jesus Christ did for us. That is just my hope and prayer, that with all the divides and all the things going on, that we could come together and trust God and live for him. So I'm going to close in a word of prayer, and I do thank you all for joining me. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this time. Thank you for this day, Lord. Every day is such a gift, and we're so thankful for it. We do pray that you'd be with each and every one of us that are watching, each and every one of us that will watch, when the video is shared. And I just pray that it's a blessing and encouragement. I pray that you'd really help others, Lord, and speak to them, Lord, and just really get a hold of their heart, Lord. And just that we would all see our need for you, even those that have trusted you, Lord. That we don't stop needing you, Lord. We just realize our need more and more. God, thank you so much for this day. We pray that you bless and keep us all, Lord, and help us to live for you, to serve you, and to love others, Lord, in this world that is just so full of hate and anger and just bitterness and all these things, Lord. Help us to be different and to love others. God, again, we thank you and we praise you. And we ask these things in your wonderful and precious name, Lord Jesus. Amen. Also, just in closing, today is the Marines' birthday. So happy birthday, Marines. Thank you for all your service. And tomorrow being Veterans Day. Again, thank you so much for your service, and so many have sacrificed so much. Not even those that we remember on Memorial Day, those that have paid the ultimate price for the freedoms that we have, but just thinking about the sacrifice for your families of soldiers being away, deployed and all over the country and all over the world and things. And I'm just so thankful for the country we live in. And I just, if you haven't got a thank you today, just thank you so much for your service. And we love you, and we're praying for you. So thank you all for joining me, and we will see you on the next video. And this is John with the WATCHMAN'S Manual, as that's going on YouTube also, and also on Rumble. So I'm on Twitter too, which is now X, and I don't know how to, Twitter that was X, and I don't know, or Twitter is now X, whatever it is. But anyway, well, thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video.